let's do some more practice factoring. All right, another example is x to the 9th minus x to the 6th minus x cubed plus 1. All right, so I'm going to go through it, and first I'm going to say, is there GCF? No. Now it's 4 plus terms, which means grouping. So I'm going to just do a box with 4 terms. Negative x to the 6th, so the first 2 goes in vertical. Negative x cubed, and a 1. Okay, now I'm going to say what's common. So just a 1 between these two, and an x to the 6th. Now this way is an x to the 3rd, and this way is just a 1. Now I know this is wrong because I need a negative at least, so somebody's got to be negative. So this one can't be negative because this needs to be positive, both of these. Okay, but now this could be negative, and that makes that. But then now this doesn't work unless this is negative also. So usually it's the second number that's going to be negative if either one of these two are negative. If these two, either one of these and either one of these, then it's going to be these second numbers. Okay? All right, so now I get x cubed minus 1 times x to the 6th minus 1. Now, this is a binomial, and this is a number that's divisible by 3, and this is a perfect cube. So this is a difference of cubes. And then this is an even number. It's divisible by 3, and this is, so this is either one. It's divisible by 3, and this is a square and a cube. So I'm going to say that I'm going to do the difference of squares because it's easier first, and then I'll do difference of cubes next. So this one's a difference. Actually, well, let's just go both with difference of cubes, because then I can just use the formula for both of them. All right, so now I'm going to take the cube root of x cubed, and that gives me x. And then the cube root of 1 is 1. The other one, cube root of x to the 6th is x squared, and the cube root of 1 is 1. And it doesn't matter if you've done difference of squares first, like it's still going to work out. Okay, so now this one becomes, remember the Mickey ears, it goes this times itself, so that's x squared, or sorry, no, actually these first, so it's just x minus 1. Okay, there's nothing there, sorry. I should be doing this in pencil. Too late now. All right, so x minus 1 because it's a minus sign, and then this times itself, so that's x squared, and then opposite sign, so plus, and then x times 1 is x, and then plus 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, now let's do this one, which is the x to the 6 minus 1. That's this side. That's this one. Okay, so this is x squared minus, because this is minus, 1. And then now x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. And then plus, because it's opposite signs, x squared times 1 is x squared. And then plus 1. Now, when you do a difference of cubes, this trinomial guy is never going to factor. We're going to have to use quadratic formula, and that's later. So anyway, so these are never going to factor, so I know these are done. Okay, so now this is a binomial, but there's no exponent here, so this is not squares or cubes, so I'm going to write it. Okay, then this one never factors because it's the trinomial that came out of the difference of cubes. Okay, all right, now how about this one? This one's going to factor, so I'm going to circle it and write difference of squares. Okay, so I'll do that in a minute. And then this is the trinomial that came out of difference of cubes, So I'm just going to write it. Now I just got to do this one. See? Okay, so let's follow it. First I factored to these two things. Then this factored to these two things. And this one factored to these two things. Now this didn't factor, so I wrote it down here. See? This one didn't factor, so I wrote it down here. This one does factor, so I'm not going to do anything yet. And this one doesn't factor, so I wrote it down here. Now let's factor this one. Okay? Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 1 is 1. So then it just goes x plus 1, x minus 1. Which now I'm going to, this one's gone, see? So now I'm going to write this one here. And that's the whole thing. But you could also write this as x minus 1 squared times x plus 1 times these. So that's going to be my final answer. X minus 1 squared, see, because that's 1, 2 of them. And I just kind of cross them out as I write them, just gently. And then x plus 1. And then x squared plus x plus 1. X to the 4th plus x squared plus 1. Now don't get overwhelmed by this one. You can do it. It's just over and over again applications of what we factored. Okay. Also, I wouldn't take off if you didn't write this is x minus 1 squared. If you wrote it like this answer right here, totally would be correct. Okay. So no big deal. I'm just showing you this because that's going to eventually lead into what we do later. All right.